It's just ruining everything. When you want to go to the beach and all of a sudden you see oil slick all over it, it ruins everything.
A lot of gases in the air and dirt and sewage, and we're the only ones that can help it. Well, really, it's everybody's fault because everybody's contributing with litter and the gases from automobiles and airplanes. If the air pollution got really bad, we'd probably have to start wearing gas masks. Well, it's everybody's job, and not everybody is helping. Just some of the people that are really concerned are helping to clear the air and the water.
Your Navy is concerned, and with your help, can do something about it.
Hello, folks. I'm James Drury. In recent years, our nation has come to realize that our natural resources don't begin to match those of frontier days, and we must protect them if we are to survive. One organization taking the lead in the environmental program of enhancement and protection is the United States Navy. And the top gun in this shootout is Mr. Joseph A. Grimes, Jr., Deputy Undersecretary of the Navy. Mr. Grimes, as Deputy Undersecretary of the Navy, you've been spearheading the Navy's environmental program and enhancement program since your appointment in August of 1971. Can you tell us if the Navy was deeply involved in this type of program before your appointment?
Well, the Navy got started about 5 years ago with this program when the federal government directed all of its agencies to come up with 5-year plans to solve their air and water pollution problems. However, it's only in the last year or two that the Navy has begun to spend significant amounts of money. Last year we spent about $30 million, which was equivalent to what we'd spent all years before that. This year we're spending $66 million, and next year, in fiscal year 1973, we're going to be spending over $140 million.
I see. As I understand it, the Navy has some very unique environmental problems, and you've got a far broader range of problems, they tell me, than some of the other agencies. What are these problems, and what are you doing about solving them?
Well, like the Army and the Air Force, the Marines and the Navy have large land training areas, we have air bases, and large and numerous buffer zones. In addition, the Navy operates a large fleet of ships with a great concentration of both people and equipment and little or no extra space. In addition, we tend to operate near large port cities which have some significant problems of their own. And in our operations, nobody else operates submarines, aircraft carriers, or conducts refueling operations at sea.
Mm-hmm. Cleaning up shipboard problems apparently is your target for the 70s and thereafter. What solutions are you looking for as far as shipboard pollution itself goes?
Well, the shipboard problem does present some unique problems for the Navy. We have the sewage problem, we have the oil problem, both intentional discharges and accidental oil spills. Trash, for example, a large aircraft carrier generates about 7.5 tons of trash a day. We also have the problem of smoke from our smokestacks on the ships.
Well, Mr. Grimes, what do you think is the one key thing that will be most significant in the next few coming years in the Navy's efforts to clean up its own environment, clean up all of its pollution problems?
Well, I think we'll have to have a continuing commitment at all levels of the Navy to this program. After all, it does compete with some of our weapons systems, and the Navy does have a significant role to play in the defense of the country. As we view the budget now, we will very soon be getting up to close to 2% of our budget on environmental protection items, and this is an awful lot to be taking out of overhead. In addition, we must keep a sense of commitment and imagination on solving our problems at all levels of the Navy.
By competing with a weapon system, you mean competing for a share of the budget, I assume.
Yes, the Navy budget isn't going up that much, and the amount of money that we are spending on the environment is going up faster than anything else.
Mm-hmm. Do you envision a time, at any time in the near future, when we can expect that ships of the United States Navy will be totally free from discharging anything into the oceans of the world that is harmful?
Well, it is certainly a goal, and again, the question of what is harmful is again relative.
Of course.
Sewage in the open ocean is not harmful. It is a problem in crowded waterways and in harbors. The same is true of relatively small amounts of oil in the open ocean. Large amounts close into shore or in harbors is a real problem.
Mm-hmm.
The President has stated that we have as our goal the elimination of all intentional discharges of oil in the open ocean by mid-1970s or by 1980 at the latest. And we're aiming to meet that goal. We're working on a significant number of new devices on oil and water separators, flexible membranes for our ballast tanks, audible alarms, magnetic valves, a whole series of things.
What is the Navy actually doing right now about oil spills?
Well, we're trying to avoid them wherever possible.
Of course.
They cost a lot of money to clean up, and they give us the kind of publicity we could well do without. And we're trying to avoid these in a couple of ways. First of all, we're getting better training for our people who are handling oil on the ships, and we're making them aware of what kind of problems it causes to the Navy and to the environment. Secondly, we are trying to get better equipment that will make it less likely that oil will be spilled. I think I mentioned earlier some audible alarms when the tanks are almost full, magnetic valves for automatic shut-off, and various things like that, automatic overflows from one tank to another.
Mm-hmm.
The other part of this problem is that once you spill the oil, if you can clean it up in a hurry, you have a lot less of a problem. And we now have new contingency plans at all of our shore installations throughout the Navy, and we're sending out more and better equipment all the time.
Doing its share in the mounting struggle against pollution is the United States Navy. The Navy has had special problems in its efforts to eliminate pollutants. Most naval facilities were built long before pollution became a national concern. At many stations, environment-protecting devices had to be built or improved to meet today's requirements. Congress recognized the situation and since 1967 has provided the Navy with the biggest share of the Defense Department anti-pollution budget. Responsibility for pollution control at shore stations rests with the Naval Facilities Engineering Command. The three main areas that NAVFAC deals with are air, water, and solid waste pollution. Because its activities are so diverse, the Navy handles pollution abatement on an individual basis, station by station. Whether the relatively simple case of open burning or the more difficult one of a firefighting school, NAVFAC must come up with a solution that will surpass even the most stringent requirements of any local, state, or regional governing body. Particles and smoke from open burning are major contaminants of the atmosphere. The Navy is using several types of preventive engineering to stop air pollution by open burning: sanitary landfill, incineration, and contract waste removal. Sanitary landfills like the one at the Naval Air Station, Miramar, California, can benefit two customers. In a disposal site on station, the Navy makes a deposit of more than 38 tons of refuse every day. This refuse used to be burned. At the same site, the Navy will also deposit garbage, which has been collected from ships berthed in the San Diego Bay area. California law prohibits dumping any raw garbage in a landfill when it originated out of the state. Garbage which was previously dumped in the deep ocean is now cooked in a giant stew pot. This trailer-mounted garbage sterilizer was especially fabricated for the job. After cooking for 2 hours at more than 200 degrees Fahrenheit, the garbage is effectively liquefied. It can then be discharged at the landfill. The neighboring community, in this case, northern San Diego, also uses the site and operates it at no cost to the Navy. Precautions are taken to see that the fill is covered daily and that the topsoil is firmly packed down. At certain locations, it is more convenient and less expensive to hire a private contractor for solid waste removal. Community authorities oversee the contractor's facilities to ensure that his operation does not contribute to further environmental pollution. At the Naval Station, Norfolk, Virginia, a giant new incinerator has been built. But unlike previous Navy incinerators, this one is capable of producing usable steam heat. It is the first of its kind in the United States. Refuse, which prior to the construction of the new incinerator had been burned in an open dump, is now burned to a very fine ash under intense heat. The inside of the incinerator walls are lined with water-filled pipes. Steam produced in them travels under pressure along insulated conduits. It is used to heat buildings and docked ships whose power plants can be shut down to permit essential maintenance and to further reduce air pollution. Short-term tactics are not enough to win the war against pollution. Whenever possible, the Navy works with local communities to plan long-range strategies. At Newport, Rhode Island, address for some of America's most magnificent homes, the Navy has delayed construction of a $3 million incinerator that would service the naval station alone. Instead, negotiations are underway for a regional disposal authority in which the Navy would participate and pay its fair share. Another contributor to air pollution can be heating plants, which do not meet today's anti-pollution standards. At the United States Naval Academy, Annapolis, Maryland, the old coal-burning plant has been closed down, and a modern oil-burning unit is now operative. Air pollution has been effectively eliminated from the exhausts. The new plant incorporates state-of-the-art designs in all of its equipment and monitoring devices. A similar new oil-burning plant at the Great Lakes Naval Center has also eliminated an outmoded coal burner and the air pollutants it produced. It is essential that Navy personnel be knowledgeable in the techniques of fighting shipboard fires. Training is conducted at shore installations where the ship conditions are simulated. In the past, these sessions produced dense plumes of smoke. Now, however, gas-fired afterburners, like these at the firefighting school on Treasure Island in San Francisco Bay, reduce the smoke to carbon dioxide and water vapor. Because of their outstanding success, smoke abatement projects have been funded by Congress for the San Diego, Philadelphia, and Great Lakes firefighting schools. Water pollution is one of the situations that the Navy has been working hard to curb. Nature now needs a great deal of help to purify its water. Sewage treatment plants, like the present ones at the Great Lakes Naval Facility, can assist the natural regenerative process by returning to water the oxygen and bacteria essential for life. After water leaves the primary tanks, it enters one of the two types of secondary separators. The trickling filter system near the lake is a bed of stones on which bacteria gather. When sewage is filtered through the stones, the bacteria consume most of the organic matter. The aeration unit on the inland system contains activated sludge loaded with bacteria. The combination of pressurized air and bacteria breaks down organic matter. The sewage then travels to a sedimentation tank, where the heavier particles are removed by settling. This treatment facility has gone a long way toward solving some of Lake Michigan's problems. The goal for this area is a coordinated ecological plan. As part of its program for community environmental cooperation, the Navy has joined with residents of the Lake County North Shore Sanitary District in Illinois to stop effluents from polluting the once mighty lake. Massive new waste treatment plants are being opened at naval shore stations around the world. This one at Pearl Harbor is capable of treating 7.5 million gallons per day, which formerly went untreated into the waters of the harbor. The new treatment plant at Patuxent River, Maryland, services the Naval Air Test Center and the Naval Air Station. Additions to the treatment facility at the Naval Station Annapolis serve both the station and the Naval Academy. Chesapeake Bay is the ultimate beneficiary of these recent improvements, which increased capacity loads. Industrial wastes are more difficult to accommodate than storm and sanitary sewage. For this reason, they are being given special attention by the Navy. At the Naval Air Rework Facility in Pensacola, Florida, paint stripped from aircraft formerly was drained from the area untouched. Now it receives physical, chemical, and biological treatment in order to protect Pensacola Bay. A $1.3 million industrial waste facility has been built for this purpose, with a $700,000 secondary treatment plant under construction to treat its effluent prior to reaching the bay. The problems of solid waste carry over into other areas of pollution control. If an incinerator is used and it doesn't burn clean, there is air pollution. If water is used to douse the incinerator ash, the runoff can cause water pollution. The leftover ash itself becomes a solid waste problem. To control solid waste pollution, the Navy uses incinerators, landfill, and private contractors. Care is taken to make sure all methods are efficient and do not cause subsequent pollution problems. The ideal solution for solid waste is to create a further use for the discard. At the Naval Ordnance Station in Concord, California, a shredder has been installed to reduce dunnage wood from shipping crates into chips. The end product is sold to a local lumber processor who converts it to wood byproducts. Usually, obsolete classified documents are disposed of by burning. At the Naval Station in San Diego, a mobile grinder is used to chew up the classified material. Various activities around the base can make appointments to have the grinder come over for a bite to eat. After dinner, the condensed pulp, no longer an air pollution problem, is removed to a landfill. These are just a few of the ways the Navy is engaged in the never-ending struggle against pollution. The days when fighting ships set full sail to go into battle are long over. A modern Navy needs shore facilities that can handle the demands of bigger and more complex ships if it is to maintain its supremacy on the seas. But as technology increases, so can pollution. The U.S. Navy is committed to reducing pollution from its shore stations and is devoting a significant portion of its resources toward that goal.
Mr. Grimes, I'd like to have an opportunity to have you explain to our listeners exactly how the pollution programs of the Navy are going to be funded, what portion of the Navy's total budget is going to be used in this manner, and how much we're spending now and how much we're planning to spend in the future.
Well, as I mentioned to you earlier, last year we spent about $30 million, this year $66 million, next year over $140 million, and we now project that we'll be between $300 and $400 million by fiscal year 1974. As we get up to that area, that's close to 2% of the Navy's budget, both in the direct costs and in a number of hidden costs that we have. When we buy ships and airplanes in the future, we will be buying them with pollution control devices. And these ships and airplanes will cost us a lot more, but they will not have itemized expenses for pollution control. Also, we've built a lot of industrial waste treatment facilities, sewage treatment facilities, and the like, and these cost a lot of money to run. We have estimated that last year it cost us about $12 million to run these. In addition, we have things like dredging. We have to dredge our harbors from time to time. And the new requirements require us to take the dredge spoils further out to sea to dump them from time to time. And this greatly increases the cost. Recently at Hunters Point, the cost of the dredging for the Enterprise overhaul cost us 3 times as much as it would have cost us if we had been able to dump the dredge spoils where we normally dump them.
I see.
Now, let me just mention one other thing. Just the shipboard problem alone, which is the one that's going to cost us most money, will run around $1 billion in the next 5 years, just for the shipboard discharge problem alone.
Now, is that in research and development or in actually building hardware to take care of the problem?
That is total. The research and development is only a very small part of it. The biggest problem on the ships actually is the repiping problem. For example, an aircraft carrier has 150 discharge points over the side for wastewaters. And the repiping problem on one of those large aircraft carriers is a monumental one.
Do you feel that the significant step up in your budget for environmental problems, almost doubling your money, as it were, from year to year, as you're going along, will affect and attract the type of personnel that will be able to carry this out?
Yes, I'm sure it will, if we can get the word out to these people what we are doing. A couple of weeks ago, I talked to some of the young CB officers. Those are the young engineers at Port Hueneme, California, and recently finished officers candidate school, and I talked to them as we're talking here today. And they were really turned on with this prospect of doing things in the Navy with the broad range of problems we have and the opportunities that they would have as naval officers in the engineering corps to solve some of the significant problems facing not only the Navy, but the whole country.
Mr. Grimes, I've heard of a unique conservation program at the Naval Weapons Station at Seal Beach, California. In fact, I'd heard of it long before I heard of this assignment. Could you tell us a little bit about that and how the Navy is cooperating with the civilian population in protecting this area?
Yes, the buffer zone to the Naval Ammunition Facility at Seal Beach is one of the few remaining and relatively untouched salt marshes left in Southern California. And the Navy has worked very closely with Long Beach State College, which uses the area for research and development projects and classroom demonstrations. In addition, they give the Navy a lot of free advice on how to preserve this area. Now, this is not the only one of these that the Navy and the Marines have. In fact, at over 82 of our bases, we have various kinds of joint management agreements with federal and state conservation agencies.
Can you give me an example, Mr. Grimes, of what the Navy's doing in pollution control, going hand in hand with environmental enhancement?
But we are trying to tie in the idea of environmental protection and environmental enhancement, that pollution control is only a part of this. I think perhaps one of our best examples is at Pearl Harbor, where the Navy is spearheading a drive to make Pearl Harbor not just a clean harbor, but a national monument. And as part of this effort, we have offered to give up some of our land around East Loch if the city and state will buy some additional private land and make this into a park area. For our purposes, all we care about is a buffer zone. But by this rather imaginative use of the land that we have, we are bringing more land into parkland by getting the state and the city to go along with us.
I see. Well, that's certainly a far-ranging and broad scope of activities in the Navy's efforts to clean up the environment and stop pollution, stop its own pollution. And I've enjoyed very much, Mr. Grimes, talking to you. We've been speaking with Deputy Undersecretary of the Navy, Joseph A. Grimes, Jr., who is in charge of the Navy's pollution problems and also some of the pollution solutions that we've heard today. We've enjoyed very much meeting with you, sir, and thank you, folks, for your attention. This is James Drury.
kind of a country will he inherit?